Oldest and most important thoroughfare. This is the River Thames immediately ahead of us. You can see the river looks fairly low. This is part of Chelsea. The Chelsea embankment is the road that we're coming out onto, which lines the Thames. The River Thames is the longest river to flow wholly within England. It's about 220 miles long from its source, where it begins, just to the north of the city of Bath, to its estuary, where it exits into the North Sea, to the east of London. It was a particularly good location in which to build. And Londinium, the Roman settlement, very quickly became a prosperous and affluent trading port. 2,000 years later, London, of course, is our capital city. It covers an area of nearly 700 square miles. 8.5 million people live here in Greater London, and the population of our capital, over 10.5 million people, will be calling London home. So as we come along by the Thames, which is a tidal river as it flows through London, its height is governed by the sea tides. There's a place just to the west of town where the freshwater Thames meets the saltwater tidal river, and that's called Saline. So we've got several bridges, several river crossings here. Battersea Bridge, the Albert Bridge, Chelsea Bridge, all built at different times, all with different detail and architectural features. National Day today, the 30th of November, the shortest day of November. Sun will be setting at 5 minutes to 4 this afternoon. As we head towards the midwinter solstice, it's appropriate to mention all this because we're going to be at Stonehenge later. And there the solstice is, of course, a very important time. Palace of Westminster and Westminster Abbey, and gradually that little area became known as Westminster, referring to the minster, the church in the west. In 1066, the last successful invasion of the British Isles took place, and this was when William the Conqueror, William Duke of Normandy, crossed the English Channel from Caen, defeated our last Saxon monarch, Harold, at the Battle of Hastings, and on Christmas Day, England was now united under one monarch. Actually, this happened a bit further back in 973. Edgar was crowned King of England in the Abbey in Bath, which you can see this afternoon. So Edgar was the very first king of all England, and 100 years later, or just under, when the Normans arrived, William the Conqueror became the first French King of England. And things settled. Meanwhile, London was still growing. So by the time Henry VIII became king in the 15th century, Londinium, or London as it was now known, had grown westwards. Westminster had grown eastwards. And by the 1600s, the two had merged. Henry VIII began building ships. He recognised very quickly that as a maritime nation completely surrounded by several serious seas, we needed to build our naval power. The House of Hanover, very strictly Protestant. The Act of Settlement, which set out the line of succession, which brought George I from Hanover, was brought here to reinforce the Protestant claim to the throne. And this particular act also set out conditions which ensured that no Roman Catholic would ever get near the throne of England ever again. Now, happily, that is no longer the case. The law of succession, the Act of Settlement, has been modernised. And Henry VIII had one of his favourite homes here by the river at Richmond Palace. He was born at Greenwich Palace to the east of London, but spent a lot of time in London at Whitehall Palace.